Hey guys, how's it going? I've been having it a lot nowadays where people have been coming to me for work, a lot of young guys who come to me to help them out, and then they don't want to have to hustle, they don't have to work hard, they don't want to have to put in the effort to improve. This is the big thing with the community nowadays that I've been noticing. It's that men are wanting you're wanting the results. You want the women, you want the money, you want to be a badass motherfucker, but you're not willing to put in the actual fucking effort. You're not willing to go through the pain. And I'll say this, that is the saddest fucking thing that I've noticed about men nowadays, is that you guys are not willing to put yourselves into the fucking furnace, into the fire. You're not willing to put yourself into even an uncomfortable situation, let alone a painful one. And this is why nowadays a lot of men are so fucking weak. I've had so many clients come to me, a lot of young guys, and they're like, I want to improve, I want to get good with women, but I don't want to have to approach, but I don't have to get rejected, but I'm not willing to go through some form of suffering. And with anything in life, when it comes down to improvement, you have to suffer to some extent. And suffering, contrary to what common practice says, contrary to what a lot of people in today's culture say, bad things, being offended, being hurt, being emotionally traumatized, they're fucking good for you. Broccoli, a food that is extremely good for you. A lot of people think it's good for you because, it's a vegetable. It's got greens, it's got fiber. But what's really funny about this simple vegetable is it actually has a pesticide that is very bad for you. Now, that sounds terrible, right? Why would you eat something that has pesticide in it, something that's so inherently bad for you? Well, the funny thing about this is that it actually teaches your body to fight off and to raise its immunity. This thing that's supposedly bad for you actually turns on certain genetic traits in you. It flips those things on. It makes you even tougher. When you get sick, when you get like a cold, when you get the flu, you build up antibodies to it and you become even stronger. In the same way, when you go through tough times, when your chest feels heavy, when you feel sad, when you feel depressed, when you feel like you're not enough, if you treat this the right way, you should be growing from these situations. If you're not victimizing your situation, you should be growing. And I call this winner mentality. It's called winner mentality as opposed to victim mentality. A lot of you young guys are like, I don't want to go and approach girls on my campus because I would get rejected, because I would give a bad name for myself. Which, first and foremost, the only way you're going to give a bad name going and approaching girls is if you're leaving them on a bad note. If you're leaving them in a good way and you're leaving them in a positive way, then of course you're not going to leave a bad taste in their mouth and they're not going to talk nasty about you. But a lot of you guys are still young, a lot of you guys still haven't built the social acuity yet to do this, so I get what you're saying. But in the long haul, in a stoic mentality, which if you guys know what stoic is the act of working really hard and going through a period of pain so that your future is even better and brighter. In the same way that if you're willing to do this, to put yourself through the fire, of course, you're going to come out the other side a lot stronger. Now, when you take a sword and you heat it up in the furnace, what do you do afterwards? You pull it out and you bang it into a sharper edge. In the same way, that's what you're doing. You're putting yourself in the fire, you're pulling yourself out, and you're giving yourself a harder edge, a sharper edge. And a lot of guys nowadays are really dull when it comes down to this. You guys don't have that sharpness, that edge to you. And that's why a lot of women are massively repulsed by you, even creeped out. If you're not willing to do this, if your mentality is, I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable, I don't want to hurt people's feelings, I don't want to have to hurt my own feelings or put myself out to get rejected, you're being a fucking pussy, like straight up, 110%. And this is not the industry for you. For the most part, there's winners and there's losers out there. And I'm sorry to say it, you're one of the other ones. All right, my videos are for winners. If you're a winner, watch this video and listen to it. Change your mentality because it's totally in your control. And I know nowadays, since a lot of people have been pulling themselves out of our industry, the younger generation doesn't remember how the pickup community used to be, how a lot of people in our industry used to have that fucking passion behind their eyes, how they used to be able to elevate themselves above social pressure because they were men, they weren't boys. A lot of you guys are living in this boyhood where like everything's fucking shaking you. You're crying over the littlest things. You're worrying about a singular girl. You're like, what is this girl thinking about me? Like you're constantly texting her, hitting her back immediately, as opposed to being a person on his purpose, not putting the girl first, and actually like hustling his ass off. Like, the difference between men is not inherent. It's not genetics. It's not the way they were born or the things they were given. it was the deciding factor that that person was willing to put himself through more pain than the other guy. The reason that I'm in front of you on the camera right now is because I was willing to go through more pain than the rest of my predecessors. There were a lot of guys that I worked with in RSD that all told me they were all gonna have YouTube channels and they were all gonna have followers and they were all gonna be the next RSD. And none of them ended up doing it. I'm the only person still shooting videos to this day. And that's because I am willing to fucking suffer. I'm willing to go through the pain. I'm willing to hustle my ass off. And unfortunately, I feel like most men are not willing to do this. But I'll say this. This for me is a perfect thing. And this is actually a good thing for you as well. Because most men are weak, it doesn't take too much pain, it doesn't take too much hustle to put yourself above those other men. It doesn't take that much effort. All right? It takes a little pinch of it. It doesn't take anything for a person or a man to put himself above another. If you're willing to put in like 2 years of hard ass hustle, you would not believe the amount of results that you would get just from that. I'm gonna say this, I hear the same fucking excuses every time. And like, everybody's like, I'm gonna wait till such and such thing, or I'm gonna wait till this happens, or my time frees up. You're like, you're working like a 40-hour a week job, and you're like, I can't possibly go out because the 40 hours a week is taking up all my fucking time. First and foremost, this is fucking retarded. All right, I worked 70, 80 hours a week, and I was still able to go out 4 days a week. You have all the fucking time in the world. You have all of this time. It's just how are you using it? Are you using it playing video games? Are you using it fucking like jacking off? Like, what are you using this fucking time for? Because I'm telling you this, you're using this time so fucking piss poorly. Now, it's a little bit habitual. Like teaching yourself to use this time better is a constant practice. I'm still constantly improving on this. And every year I get better and better at doing this. And you need to just focus on getting better, a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, because it is a process and it's a habit. So it's just as much a skill set as approaching women is. A man in winner mentality doesn't say, I can't do it because of this. He finds solutions. He finds a way to supersede and become bigger than the problem itself. A lot of people in this quarantine, a lot of you guys are like looking at this as an excuse for why you can't do something, as opposed to being like, how can I use this to elevate myself and become better? You know what I'm doing? I'm sitting inside and I'm writing field reports still. I can't go out and game, but you know what I'm doing? I'm sitting down, I'm like, how can my version of myself inside my house, inside my place, how can I, once this quarantine is over, become even fucking better on the outside? Like, what does that next version of myself look better? Like, how does that next version of myself look even better? How is he able to get the things that he wants? How is my personality as a vehicle able to get me to my end result? And what is that end result? I'm thinking about all this shit. I'm even planning out my business. I'm working on a ton of different things, like such as my business. I'm putting out 2 e-products now. I'm putting out a mastermind as of tomorrow. And then 2, I'm also going to be working on an e-product. I'm hustling inside, even though everybody else is making excuses for why they can't do shit. You guys need to stop making excuses and be problem solvers. Look to what you have control over, because this is the difference between victim mentality and winner mentality. Victim mentality tells you why you can't do something. Winner mentality tells you, what can I do and what do I have control over? You focus on one of these 2 places. And I'm gonna tell you this, most of the world, unfortunately, is focusing on the victim mentality. And this is why they're gonna be fucking losers for the rest of their lives. And I don't wanna deal with those people. Those people are fucking losers. But if you're in this is a community of fucking warriors. We're willing to go through rejection. We're willing to go through pain. We're willing to put ourselves into the fire. And this is the mentality of a man. And this is what you should be doing. If you want everything you want in life, if you want women, money, there's competition. There's a lot of people out there, but I'm just gonna say this, the way that you defeat that competition is by pushing yourself through more bullshit than they were willing to go through. Do you want money? Do you want women? Do you want friends? Do you want that fucking status? Do you wanna be like talked about one day in whispers? Do you wanna be a fucking legend? Because the guys that push themselves into this shit didn't do it on their back on the couch eating potato chips. They pushed themselves through and into the pain. This is what you're gonna be doing. If you wanna be a fucking boss, if you wanna be a badass, that's what this community is about. If you're lukewarm and this is just something you're doing on your free time, and in all honesty, you just wanna be lukewarm, go be lukewarm somewhere else. This is not a society for those kind of people. You always have time to go out and approach. You always have time to work on yourself. There's always something you can do to improve. Are you doing this, or are you like, oh no, I got rejected, oh no, the pain, oh no, this happened, oh no, I cannot possibly handle all this weight on my shoulders and this stress and this fear. Or you're gonna push through it, or you're gonna teach yourself how to handle it. There was a really cool quote that I read yesterday, and it was said like this. When weight is put on your shoulders, do you pray that the weight was less, or do you pray for stronger shoulders? And this answer to this question is gonna control the course of your life. There's a multitude, a tree of different like decisions. There's one where you're in the streets homeless, and there's another where you're a fucking millionaire. Where you're a millionaire, you have everything you fucking wanted. That tree is totally possible, but you have to be making the right fucking decisions. And I'm gonna say this, the majority of these possibilities are probably ill. They're not made for fucking losers. You have to earn this shit. And earn it you can. All right? Quit listening to fucking dumbasses, because the majority of people out there are, again, dumbasses. They're not successful. They're not hustlers. They can't get women. They can't get like the shit they want. So why would you listen to somebody that doesn't have what you want? It comes down to hustle. It comes down to working your ass off. It comes down to figuring it out. Like I built myself habits that got me things. I went out there and hustled and approached tens of thousands of women. I hit it fucking hard. And I wrote a lot of field reports. I wrote bookcases worth of field reports. Thinking this shit through. You guys wonder how I'm able to break things down into such dense detail? This is why. I wrote so many more field reports than my predecessors, than my fucking competition, than the other guys that are doing this with me. I wrote so many field reports that now I understand this thing on a deep, tacit level. So now when I talk to you guys on camera, I can break it down like nobody else. And that's because I hustled. If you guys want this, it's in your control. Are you willing to fight for it? And with that being said, peace out.
See me running out that door cause I'm gone, bitch, so